Alright, this is going to be the review for the JT-350 Butterscotch. This is one of Jet's T-style guitars. Let's start off with the bad, as there's not really much that I don't like about this guitar. There's really only three things. The first thing is it's got a bit more of a chunkier neck than the 400s, which is really great in playability. But that doesn't necessarily make this feel less of a Tele. In fact, this guitar actually reminds me a lot of my experience with playing broadcasters, no-casters, and early Telecasters that Fender was putting out. This gives it more of like a workhorse, utilitarian kind of, you can manhandle this guitar. Some people like this style of the neck. I'm not as much of a fan, but it still feels pretty good despite the thickness of the neck. Number two is also going to be more subjective, and it's the pickups. Now, the flip side to this, just like the JS400, is the fact that even though I don't necessarily like them, I don't hate them. And I generally do not like pickups that come standard stock from the factory. And for as inexpensive as this guitar is, I'm surprised at how good these pickups actually do sound. Whether that be strumming or playing individual notes, if I want something that sounds jangly, it doesn't have as ice-picky of a sound, at least in the room. The neck can feel a little bit too muddy and a little bit too bassy, but in reality, as bassy as it is, it still maintains clarity. And the third thing is something that is going to be more of a we'll find out if it's going to be an issue for later. And that has to do with the locking tuners. So as I was tuning this up and setting this guitar up, it had some sticking points in the tuning keys, and I don't necessarily know if that's because there's a bunch of wraps on here. Generally speaking, you don't put wraps on locking tuners. The tuners lock in for you, and then you want the least amount of wraps so there is not as much stretching with the winding around the tuning peg. However, this only happened once, and it's not really something that I've experienced except for in the very beginning. So maybe the gears were a little bit stuck and needed to be broken in. I'm not too sure, but that is something that I'm going to keep an eye out for, and I did notice it when I pulled it out of the package. Now on to the positives, because there's a lot. The first thing out the gate is that the ends of the frets feel great. The neck absolutely feels fantastic to play. It's very smooth. Despite the chunkiness of the neck, it still feels good with my hands to be able to go across the fretboard. Next is going to be the contouring. So if you look in the back, you're going to have a contour out here by the cutaway, and it feels fantastic to be able to play up here at the highest points of the fretboard. Also, with no neck plate, it gives a much smoother experience as well. All the potentiometer sweeps are smooth. There's no crackling, nothing like that. Everything runs like clockwork. There are no problems. And in fact, this has a 3-barrel saddle system in here, which sometimes has a problem with intonation. This has 0 problems with intonation, which was a pleasant surprise. And what may seem as a contradiction to the negatives, it does have locking tuners that come with it. And I didn't see that on the website, so when it came in with locking tuners, that was fantastic. Now, I did say that the negative was that it did have a catch in it, but after that, everything is smooth sailing. So far, so good. I would definitely recommend this guitar, whether you're a beginner or you're a professional musician. Definitely go pick one up. You can't go wrong. The price is right, and the quality is there.